The time has come for you to come home and be reunited with me.
After the untimely death of Chadwick Boseman, Fran's family and fans across the world mourn the loss of the actor that introduced the iconic Black Panther in the MCU. Now, his legacy will live on in his work, and even in death, his impact was felt. Now, his influence casts a huge shadow over the upcoming Wakanda Forever film, which many members of the cast and director Ryan Coogler have stated will honor the actor who portrayed T'Challa. Now, from what we've seen in the trailers, it seems like a lot of emotions are surging through the citizens of the African nation, and it's clear that Wakanda and the MCU also lost T'Challa. Now, while Boseman's death led Coogler to reshape the script to acknowledge the loss of the actor who portrayed the character, it's likely we won't be seeing T'Challa's Black Panther anytime soon in the coming Marvel phases. But that doesn't necessarily rule out the possibility of a variant showing up at some point. In fact, I think it'd be a smart move for Marvel to eventually replace T'Challa in the MCU. And here's why.
Move, Captain. I won't ask a second time.
Now, both Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness introduced us to the MCU's multiverse on the big screen, with Loki playing within the realm on Disney+.
Hello.
Now, the multiverse gives Marvel a world of almost infinite possible outcomes for some of our beloved Marvel characters. Like, think about it. What if there's a universe out there where Tom Cruise is in fact Tony Stark?
Yeah, baby.
Now, whoever decides to take up arms as a Black Panther variant should likely have some ties to the Wakanda we already know. Like, maybe there's a universe out there where Killmonger became the ruler of Wakanda and the next Black Panther. Like, I guess technically there's probably a Schrodinger's universe where he won that fight with T'Challa, and maybe he ended up pushing T'Challa into the sea. Now, variants can exist all day, and it's more than possible that there's a universe in the MCU's multiverse where T'Challa is still alive and remains the Black Panther. But what about the main 616 universe? Could Killmonger actually return?
Lieutenant Killmonger? What is that, German?
A nickname.
That's clearly a good fit. I see where they got it.
Well, honestly, it depends on if Marvel Studios is willing to, make some loose adaptations based on events in the comics. Like, Killmonger was, in fact, revived in Black Panther issue 20 during the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. Now, these were events that occurred after the Secret Wars, so maybe Michael B. Jordan could return at some point.
The world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top.
But you know what? That's besides the point. The real question here is, what is the reality of Marvel recasting the role of T'Challa?
I must take the mantle back. I must right these wrongs.
Now, speaking with Empire Magazine earlier this year, Kevin Feige talked about how it was just too soon to recast the role of T'Challa at this time, going on to say, quote, "Stan Lee always said that Marvel represents the world outside your window. And we had talked about, as extraordinary and fantastical as our characters and stories are, there's a relatable and human element to everything we do. The world is still processing the loss of Chad, and Ryan poured that into the story." Now, Feige said in the interview that it was too soon to recast the role, not that it was outside of the realm of possibility. So it's likely we may see T'Challa reappear eventually. Now, obviously, if we do, the MCU will have to lean into the whole multiversal trope of making it all feasible and logical. And honestly, that's not impossible. With the What If animated series, we were introduced to a T'Challa that didn't become Black Panther, but instead Star-Lord.
Hey, stop! Show some respect! This is the Star-Lord.
And from there, he became a member of the Guardians of the Multiverse. And head writer of What If, AC Bradley, confirmed with us here at IGN that the animated anthology is in fact canon to the overall MCU. Quote, "It's part of the MCU multiverse. The multiverse is here. It's real. And it is absolutely fantastic, people." Now, we've seen Agent Carter, who first appeared in the animated series, show up as part of the Illuminati in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So, while it may not be possible for Chadwick to reprise his role given the circumstances, it's likely Marvel Studios will do its due diligence in recasting T'Challa eventually with an actor fitting for the role. Now, William Hurt's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was recently recast with Harrison Ford. William Hurt is a legendary actor, and while it's rather unfortunate he passed away, his legacy and contributions in the role of General Ross will not be forgotten, and Harrison Ford is, in my humble opinion, worthy enough to carry that torch. Now, with all this to think about, what are the upcoming events and movies in the MCU that could see the return of the King? Well, T'Challa's Black Panther made his debut in 1966 in Fantastic Four issue 52. And with the theatrical release of Fantastic Four slated for 2025, it's likely we won't see that particular story play out. But it's such an iconic one, man, with Black Panther going head to head against each member of the team to test their mettle. But there's so much more yet to be explored with T'Challa's Black Panther in the MCU. There's like so many pivotal and iconic moments we might never see on the silver screen due to the absence of T'Challa. And speaking of silver screen, there's Fantastic Four issue 545, where T'Challa rode on the Silver Surfer's surfboard and somehow managed to subdue the metallic humanoid. Although I'm pretty sure the Silver Surfer was likely just playing possum in that particular scene to siphon off information from Black Panther. But that was such a badass maneuver, and quite a lot of comic fans were talking about that very moment, seeing Black Panther swoop on in to attack Silver Surfer while catching some cosmic waves. Now, there was also a time when T'Challa subbed in for Matt Murdock as Hell's Kitchen's very own savior in 2018's Black Panther: The Man Without Fear, which saw T'Challa reestablish himself as a hero, but without the backing of his kingdom or vibranium tech. Now, instead, he just had to rely on his ability to bust heads using just his fists and feet. Now, sure, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is using Daredevil's new series, Daredevil Born Again, to properly reintroduce Matt Murdock into the MCU, but David Liss, Francesco Francavilla, and Hafte Palo's run on Black Panther: The Man Without Fear might be an excellent way to reintroduce T'Challa back into the MCU in a way that adds a bit of grit and more complexity to our favorite Wakandan prince. Now, there was also the time during the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda story arc where T'Challa assembled a powerhouse of heroes to take on the resurrected Killmonger and other evil forces to protect Wakanda Prime. Now, this was a team that saw the likes of Ironheart, Miles Morales' Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Storm, Falcon, and a slew of other black superheroes T'Challa just had on speed dial. Now, seeing that assembly of greatness play out in the MCU would be amazing, not to mention the perfect homage to a character that has proven himself vital in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And with the MCU set to take on the Secret Wars on the big screen, it's possible they may pursue the 2015 version of the Secret Wars, which reinterpreted the original story from the 80s by raising the stakes of those particular events. Now, this time around, the Ultimate Universe and Earth 616 were on a collision course set to wreck the multiverse. And in a move similar to what we saw in the MCU's Avengers Endgame, T'Challa's Black Panther uses the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity Stones to take on the big bad guy, in this instance Doctor Doom, in a fight to save both the 616 and Ultimate Universes.
Give it to me.
Now, much like in Endgame, the stakes were high, and it was great to see Black Panther taking center stage as the main hero, poised to save the day. Now, this, in my opinion, cemented T'Challa as one of the most valuable members of the Avengers, and why I think there is still so much more to be explored with that character in the MCU. Now, in this particular take on the Secret Wars, T'Challa's Black Panther played a very vital part, and while it'll likely be drastically different from the pages of the comics, with the MCU knee-deep into the multiverse, maybe we'll see the Ultimate Universe's T'Challa introduced. But you know what? It'll likely be years from now, till these puzzle pieces come together. But honestly, here's hoping we'll see Marvel look to what's already been laid out in front of them as the blueprints to the current and upcoming phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So while we won't be getting T'Challa in Black Panther 2, I personally don't mind waiting till Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Ryan Coogler, and everyone else in charge of that decision feels the world is ready to be inspired yet again by the character Chadwick Boseman made so iconic on the big screen. Like Chadwick's brother, Derek Boseman, told TMZ back in 2021 that he 100% approves the role being recast, as his late brother shared with him how Chadwick believed the character to be larger than himself. So this move would be fully embraced by his brother, which is honestly heartwarming to hear. Now, while Black Panther T'Challa was established in the MCU by Chadwick Boseman, the role went on to inspire many Black people and Marvel fans around the world. Now, with time and the right actor to portray that role in place, I honestly think Marvel Studios could eventually replace T'Challa and continue to inspire everyone through the proper representation. I'm Akeem Lawanson, and for more Marvel news and videos like this, keep watching IGN.
Wakanda Forever!